반가워요. 그리고 축하해요. We have finally reached our 30th episodeversary. Woo! Yay! Whoa, I swear I will not stop repeating myself about how grateful I am that you guys are still watching me and you are following me on my Korean learning journey and are hopefully learning something from them. And yes, I hope you still continue watching my episodes because I have some very excited stuff prepared for you today and even in the upcoming weeks, because the concept that I'll be introducing today is incredibly fundamental to learning Korean, and I will not be able to fully cover everything in today's lesson because then it's going to take years and years. So I will be introducing more related concepts in the upcoming videos, so make sure to watch this video and keep your eye out for the future ones coming up in the weeks ahead. Yay! So from the title of the video, you guys can see that I'll be talking about the grammar concept of 는 곳, which you add to verbs to turn them into nouns. Make sure to go watch my episode, which is going to be right here, where I talked about directly modifying verbs and adjectives to directly describe nouns. This is a very similar concept to what I will be talking about today, and they're actually directly linked. So pause this video, head over to this one, watch it, and make sure that you are very comfortable with this concept because the one I'll be talking about right now is pretty much almost the same thing. So, 는 곳 is comprised of two parts, the 는 part and the 곳 part. 곳 actually means thing in Korean, and it can be either something physical or abstract, anything. And when you add this 는 곳 clause to a verb, you actually are saying something like the act of that verb. For example, simplest verb, 하다. Turning it into 하는 곳 would give it a meaning of literally the thing of doing, but I like to think about it in my head for just ease of remembering as the act of doing. Same thing with verbs like 자다, to sleep. 자는 곳, the act of sleeping. Obviously in English we will directly translate it as sleeping. With that said, when you look at the English translation, the act of doing something, the act is actually a noun, right? So the act of doing, or the act of swimming, or the act of reading is technically a noun, right? That entire clause. So that's what's happening in Korean. We took a verb and we turn it into a noun, so now we can add any particles we want to it and make any kind of sentence that we want with it. For example, if you want to make the noun a subject of the sentence, you would say something like 수영하는 곳이 재밌어요. You took the 이가 subject marking particle, added it to the end of the whole noun, which is 수영하는 곳, and then you turn into a sentence that says the act of swimming is fun, or swimming is fun. Then if you want to add a topic marking particle like 는, you can say something like 수영하는 곳은 취미예요. The act of swimming is my hobby, or my hobby is swimming. What about object marking particles? Same thing. 수영하는 것을 좋아해요. I like the act of swimming, or I like to swim, if you're translating it directly. So here I want to point out that some of the translations are not going to match in English, so please don't focus too much on actual translations in English because this is something we don't have in English and it is something that you should just kind of get a feel for. So yeah, don't focus on that, just focus on understanding it as much as you can. Some example sentences can include things like 늦게 먹는 것이 건강에 나빠요. The act of eating late is not good for your health. Normally we would say eating late at night or eating late is not good for your health. I will give much more examples in the blog post, so make sure to check it out when it comes out. And with all that said, I'm sure that you guys have a question of why on earth would we even need to turn a verb into a noun? Really? There are instances where turning a verb into a noun would be the simplest way to go about it. And I'll try to give you an example right now. Let's say you have a sentence, simple one. I want naengmyeon. Because boy, it is so hot right now, and seriously, London is having this crazy heat wave and I'm just craving naengmyeon and bingsu. That's about it. You have a sentence, I want naengmyeon. 저는 냉면을 원해요, right? Simple. Subject, object, verb. But what if you would say, I want my boyfriend to buy me naengmyeon? Technically, that is still the same simple sentence because you have the subject, I, the object, my boyfriend buying naengmyeon, verb, want, right? In Korean, the first sentence would be simple. 저는 냉면을 원해요. How would we then say 저는 my boyfriend buying 냉면 원해요? How would we say that middle part? Let's just take it as a separate sentence. 남자친구는 냉면을 사요. Boyfriend buys 냉면. But we can't just say I want boyfriend buying naengmyeon. You want to say I want my boyfriend to buy naengmyeon. In English. Same thing in Korean. You have to have an object between a subject and a verb, if that's what your sentence entails. So you have to make the 남자친구는 냉면을 사요 sentence into a noun. And you do that using 는 곳. 남자친구가 냉면을 사는 곳. The act of my boyfriend buying naengmyeon. And then, using that form, you can easily plug it into that sentence and you are done. So you end up with 저는 남자친구가 냉면을 사는 것을 원해요. I hope this made sense to you guys. If it did not, I will try to explain it a little bit better and a little bit more in details in the blog post. So please, please, please look forward to me writing it really soon. Hopefully by the time I upload this. And just one last thing before I go, there's actually a way to shorten the 고시 and 것을 endings if you want your verb/noun clause, right? The verb turned into a noun. If you want that clause to be the subject of the sentence, so you have to add 이 or 가 to it. I mean, you add 이 because it's 곧. You can actually change the 것이 into 게. I'm pretty sure that's done in colloquial language, so you can say things like 아침 일찍 일어나는 게 힘들어요. The act of waking up in the morning is difficult. And here you can see that instead of 일어나는 것이, we're using 일어나는 게. I'm not sure if you can use that in written Korean, but in colloquial, just speaking, daily Korean, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can use that. And also with 것을, if you want to make your verb/noun clause as a object of the sentence and add 을 to it, then the 것을 part turns into 걸. And you will be able to say things like 친구들이랑 노는 걸 좋아해요. I like the act of hanging out with my friends. 걸 here is instead of 노는 것을, you just say 노는 걸. Just kind of shortens it and makes it a bit simpler, smoother to say. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I hope it wasn't too much, wasn't too difficult. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. If any of you are native speakers or tutors, teachers, please let me know if I made any mistakes or if I explained something incorrectly. I tried to introduce a different translation to English, kind of the act of, which I haven't really seen anywhere in other resources, but it made the most sense to me to translate it like that, just for understanding, personal understanding. So I hope that worked. Please let me know if it did. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful upcoming weekend and that you will be looking forward to the upcoming episodes because they will feature the got part again, but in a bit of a different context. So yeah, I hope I got you guys excited and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye! 안녕!